able to do that, we will then go ahead to continue with the implementation of our application. Of course, when the user login, we want them to be able to see their username here, and also clicking on any of these products should take the user to the product details page, and these are also all links to the home page. Is a link that should take the user to this page, and the my orders is a link that should take the user to the my order page, and the track order is a link that should take the user to the page where they can track their order, see the list of their order and be able to track their order, and also the logouts allow the user to carry out the logout functionality. Now before we go ahead, I want us to just, because of the link that we have created already, I want us to go ahead to create the pages that we're going to be needing. Let's just create all our pages. Let's just create all our pages. In order for us to be able to do that, we will just use the idea of the link that we have created to know the pages that we are going to be creating. Of course, to know the page you are going to be creating, clicking on this particular product will take you to the product details page of this particular product, and clicking on this will take you to the page where the user can see their orders, and clicking on my track my order take the user to the page where they can track the order. And when the user click on logout, they'll be able to log out. And if you come to this top of this components tree, you can collapse each of the screen in order for you to have a better view. You can see now that we have just 4 screens or 4 pages. So I'm going ahead to click on the plus. This I'm going to be naming screen, and call it screen product details. Product details page. I am just going to label it as product details. Of course, we are still going to be editing it later, so I am not going to bother. So let me just rename this to product details page. Product details page. So I am going to call the label product details page title. This page title, I'm going to, because there's not any alignment now. So and the other page I'm going to be creating is in my order page. So where the user can track their order, I'll call this screen my orders. So where the user can actually track their order, we'll do the same thing. Just bring a label that shows the user of the fact that my orders page title, and I'm going to label it as my orders so that the user will definitely know what this page is. So this is just creating all the pages you are going to be needing. And another page that we are going to be needing is the screen that allows us to track our order. So I'm going to be going ahead to create another new screen. Now to create a new screen, all you just need to do is to click on this plus. Just click on this plus, and then the first thing is to rename. So this is the page that the user will be using to track their order. Now take note of the fact that okay, let me just quickly create this first. So this screen track order. So I am going to be labeling it. Bring a label, and the label now is going to be screen track order page title, and I'm going to say track my orders. So now that we have been able to do that, we then go ahead to implement another functionality on the user dashboard. Of course, we have seen all the pages that we have currently. So and okay, I want to explain something that the fact that you have all these applications does not mean that you have all these projects, does not mean that each product will not have a details page, like create a details page for cutting, create a details page for sleek, create a details page for this. It is actually not going to work like that. Of course it will work, but it is not a viable solution, because imagine you have 1000 products. How are you going to be creating details page for all the 1000 products? The best thing is just to make that details page to be a dynamic page, where you are going to be fetching the details of that product based on the selected list, the selected item on the list. So now that we have that, let's just go ahead now to implement the logout functionality. Let's start with the logout. So let's continue working on our page now, so that I just want us to fix all these links, so that all these links go to their respective places first before we then go ahead to start to continue working on the application. Now, all right, so now we want to go with the we want to start with the button logout, so that we can implement the logout functionality of our application. But I'm going to be introducing to the concept of alert in using this button, because when the user click on the logout button, two things is that number one, it might be that the user mistakenly click on the logout button, and if not, they might possibly definitely want to log out. So we should take time to ask them again that do you really want to log out. Then if they now say yes, they confirm that, they can now go ahead to log out. So let us go ahead to implement the logout functionality of our application. As usual, we're going to be going to the blocks. That is where we always write the logics of our application. Currently we don't have anything in here. It is currently blank. So the first thing I want you to do here is that I want you to make this screen to be a protected screen, meaning that if the user is not logging, they should not be able to access this. After which we will then go to the logout functionality. That should be the first thing, to protect this route. In order for us to be able to do that, we start with some variables, and that is going to be, I'll start with the variables user. Now to do that, don't forget that we have some stored variables, like here for our login we initialize some stored variable, which is the email, the user ID. And I told you that stored variable always skip through all the applications. So the first thing is I want to be sure that the user is actually authenticated before they are allowed to stay on this page. So I'm going to be going to the screen user dashboard, and when the screen open, what I want to do, I want to check if there's a user ID for the user, otherwise we are going to be logging them out. So I'm going to check if s, so if the stored email is stored, the email is stored when, okay, so I'll check if it is equals to nothing. If it is not equal to nothing, so this email is stored when I was logging the user in. I'll put it here. Let me try and bring it a bit further. So in, yeah, so I'll check the email stored when I was actually logging the user in. I want to check if it is not none. So this is when it is none. If it is none, then what do I want to do? I want to navigate the user back to the login, meaning that the user is currently not logged in. So to see my navigation, I'll come to the control. I'll navigate the user back to the login if the email that I stored for them was none. So I'll take the user back to the login page, so I can tell them this page you are trying to access is not actually accessible to you ordinarily until you log in. Now for this other one, if they are logging, I want to actually do the value that we're going to be displaying here. Don't forget that we have a placeholder for the username of the user for them to see their username. So we're going to be displaying that username.